shining magically. I hit my toe. Hi YouTube, my name is Kate. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be talking all about quick service food and beverage at the Walt Disney World Resort. That was my role for my first college program, and I will be going back as a quick service cast member for my summer alumni program. So I figured I might as well make a video about something that I know all about, because when I was about to start my first program, there wasn't a ton of info out about quick service on YouTube. So I just thought I would help out. So I asked on the Facebook Disney College Program group for people to ask questions that they had about quick service. So I'll be answering those today. And if you have any other questions that I don't get to in this video, be sure to comment them below. I will definitely get to them and reply to you. I just want to help people out and help them know what to expect and help them to prepare to make their program the best program it can be. The first question comes from Caitlin, and she asked, what were the average hours that I worked a day and how many hours did I typically work a week? I would say that I typically worked probably 40 to 50 hours a week. That's kind of where I tended to average. And I would say that I usually worked anywhere between the range of an 8-hour to 10-hour shift was my normal. But I also worked 6-hour shifts sometimes. I worked 12-hour shifts sometimes. So it really just depends on your schedule. And something to keep in mind is, you know, if you really do need like a shift change, you can always trade shifts with other cast members as long as they're willing to switch shifts with you. You can't give them away, but you can trade them in the hub. So you just take their shift and they take yours. But yeah, I ended up with typically like 40 to 50, closer to the 50 range, I would say. The second question comes from Carson, and she asked if I was front of house or back of house or both. So in the Electric Umbrella, we do have front of house and back of house cast members, and whenever I got my itinerary and my location and everything, it told me that I would be front of house. I was actually trained in both back of house and front of house. He also asked how did I like, you know, how did I like where I was placed? Did I like front of house, back of house, whatever it was. So at first I was really apprehensive about the entire kitchen part of the training. I was kind of nervous about that, and I was really like, I've never worked in food before, like I don't know how to do this, I don't get it, I was gonna be front of house. I ended up really enjoying kitchen, like it wasn't bad at all, and honestly that is where you make a lot of your really good like cast member memories, so don't be scared of kitchen. And also sometimes I find that it helps the day go by faster than when you're in the front of house. But you know, that was the nice thing about being trained in both, was that pretty much doubled the amount of positions I could have for a day at work. So that meant that I was pretty much constantly doing something different. You know, one day I might have been kitchen, the next day front of house. So that kept it like fresh and fun, because I wasn't doing the exact same thing every single day. And you know, sometimes you do get tired of like, I don't want to say you get tired of the guests, but like sometimes you just need like to be in the back for a little bit, and so that was really nice about being trained in both. And I ended up really liking both areas of it, and just be prepared that you might be trained for front of house and back of house, but don't be scared of that. My next question is from Ariana, and she asked, do you know anything about specialty beverages or specialty beverage? I don't really know anything about it. I just didn't really have to work with it. I was alcohol trained. We do serve 2 alcoholic drinks and 2 beers at the Electric Umbrella, so I was trained in that, but my location wasn't specifically a specialty beverage location. So yeah, but if you do work in a location where there is alcohol, you'll be trained on it. But I do believe if it makes you uncomfortable, you can ask to not be trained on it. I'm not 100% positive on that, but if you have any questions about that, you can always ask your leaders, and I'm sorry that I didn't have more information on that specific part of quick service. My next question came from Nicole, and she asked, did I ever have to work past midnight? There were a few occasions where I had to work past midnight. Epcot does have extra magic hours, so on those nights, it's Tuesday night, we were the only restaurant still open in the park. Fun fact, if you ever go to Epcot for extra magic hours, Electric Umbrella is going to be the only place where you can get some grub, so that's a fun fact. So on those nights, instead of closing at 9 like we typically did, the restaurant would close at 11. And if you are working a closing shift, you typically stay an hour afterwards. So technically I would be clocking out at about midnight. I actually really enjoyed extra magic hour shifts because they tend to be a bit more chill. There's a lot less guests, so it's kind of a more chill atmosphere. And also I don't mind being up late, so it doesn't really bother me. I liked EMH shifts. I didn't mind working late, and it wasn't hard on me personally unless I had to be up like for an early-ish shift. Like the earliest shift I worked was like 9:30 was the earliest clock-in time I ever had, so like that's not really that bad. I've worked past midnight, but it didn't really bother me, and I typically would get a later start in the day. So instead of coming in at 11, say, I would come in at like 4 and go 4 to midnight. So that was nice because you had the whole beginning of the day to enjoy. So that was cool. She also asked what my favorite and least favorite thing about working quick service was. My favorite thing is definitely how close you get with your coworkers. I know there are a lot of different roles that they don't have that same kind of like tight-knit family thing that quick service has. You literally become best friends with all of them. I talked to people that I worked with like a few times a week, probably like a good amount of them, like 12 or 15 of them probably once a week, once every 2 weeks. So I still keep in touch with them. I really like that about quick service. Another thing I really liked about quick service was how fast paced it is. That's really nice, and also that it's very team like oriented, which is really nice. Obviously outdoor vending is going to be a little bit less of that. At my location it was really awesome that we were very like team-like and really got to know each other. My least favorite part about working quick service, I'm trying to think. I guess like the only thing I can really think for this is sometimes guests are like hangry, so it just kind of like adds on to if something isn't going perfectly for them, which that's okay. We've all been there. Like we all know what it's like to be hot and tired at a Disney park. We understand. I guess that's really like, I guess, a con of it, or I don't know. I really liked quick service. I really learned so much through the role, and I think it taught me a lot work ethic wise. It teaches you a lot about how to make magic in unexpected ways. That was one of my favorite parts of my job. So hopefully that helped and gave you a good answer. The next question comes from Gabriella, and she asked what are the differences in the types of quick service. So for example, there's outdoor vending stands and then the restaurants. So I obviously worked in an actual restaurant, like a full service, not a full service location, but like you know, a place with full seating. You come to the counter. It's an actual restaurant to visit. So I worked in the restaurant style quick service realm. Obviously, like I've said before, there are going to be a lot more cast members at these locations, and you're not going to be working alone. So that's one difference between it and stands or outdoor vending. Typically in those, you are, you know, maybe with 1 or 2 other cast members, but sometimes you're by yourself. So that's the difference there. I was only stationed at the Electric Umbrella, so I didn't get trained on any other locations or any other types of like food service or anything. But I know with stands and outdoor vending, you might learn like a few different locations, because for example, I have a friend who works outdoor vending at DAC, and she moves around location to location because some of the products are pretty much the same. It's the same job, it's just you're in a different location. So I think that's kind of exciting because you get to move around and see some different areas. Gabriella also asked about the difference in working in the parks and outside of the parks. So obviously I worked inside of Epcot. I do know that you can work obviously in the resorts or at Disney Springs or at ESPN. So those are 3 other places that you can work just off the top of my head. And I mean, I kind of was actually hoping, oh, water parks too. I was kind of hoping for like a water park for my summer program, just because I think that would be kind of like a cool location or whatever. There isn't, I mean, the job is going to be pretty much the same. You're going to be doing the same thing. It's just where you're working is going to be different. I do know that some of the resorts require, like, most of them have alcohol training. That's nice for you because you can pick up at any quick service location pretty much at that point. But if you work at a location that does not have alcohol training and you want to pick up a shift somewhere where alcohol is served, then you probably aren't going to be able to pick up that shift. So that's a difference, I guess. The next question comes from Cassidy, and she asked, do I know if you can request to work at Food or Wine or not? I personally am not sure. My program was going on. I arrived in the middle of Flower and Garden, and then I left like 2 weeks before Food and Wine started, so I'm really not positive on how that deployment works. I suggest to talk to your leaders about it. I don't know how much of a direct impact they have on that deployment, but I know that they are probably going to be the most knowledgeable person that you can talk to about it, and you can express either your interest or disinterest to work Food and Wine or not. Again, sorry that I don't know a ton about that topic. It's just I didn't work during that time or even have that as an option while I was at Disney. So yeah. The next questions come from Maddie, and Maddie asked, what did I like and what did I dislike about my location? Something that I really liked about my location was that we were at the front of the park. So a really fun thing, I remember this family very well. They came in and it was their very first day at Disney. They had literally just checked into their hotel and this was the first thing they were doing. They hadn't done a ride, hadn't done anything, and so we got to make some magic for them. Mickey gave the two little boys 2 cupcakes, made them special for them, and he also got them some celebrating buttons and Mickey straws. So that's really cool. Getting to be towards the front of the park was really awesome. And another thing that I really liked about my location was that it didn't ever get like ridiculously busy. I mean, it got busy, obviously, it's Disney and locations get busy, but Epcot was kind of like mild overall, which was cool. It was kind of like a chill environment, and then I just really loved my courts and my leaders. So I really liked working at Electric Umbrella. I guess some things that I didn't like about working at Electric Umbrella is that my location wasn't open in the morning, so it was very rare that I got shifts that ended like early enough in the afternoon to really go and do something with the rest of your day. So that's kind of like a bummer, I guess. But I mean, it was doable, it's fine. Like, it wasn't that big of a deal. I guess that's like the one thing I would say that I didn't like about my location. Maddie also asked, did I have good co-workers and leaders and coordinators? And yes, I definitely did. I really enjoyed working at Electric Umbrella. Obviously, there are some instances where you're not going to get along perfectly with everyone, and that's life. Like, that is just how it is. Overall, like, I had a really good experience with my leaders and with my coworkers and with my coordinators. The next question came from Kara, and she asked, what was the worst part about working quick service? For me, I worked at a location that had fryers, so smelling like grease sometimes was probably one of the worst things. I mean, honestly, if you have a good attitude though, like, you can do quick service. Do not let quick service scare you. Your attitude and how you go into it, and if you just like practice being grateful for the opportunity to work at Disney and know that you have the opportunity to make someone's vacation really special, that is going to be a really good way to keep yourself in check, even when the job isn't super glamorous. Yeah, I guess like some of the gross stuff you have to deal with food-wise, but besides that, like, it really wasn't bad, I promise. And Kara also asked, what kind of magical moments did I get to make? So at my location, we have like a supply of fast passes that we can give out to families. We have Mickey stickers. We have, you know, we have the ability to make magical moments like I spoke about earlier with the cupcakes for those little boys. There's a lot of different ways to make magic in that, and I think that's one of the coolest parts about working quick service, and especially in Electric Umbrella, there's not really any character theming there, so you have to be creative about how you make your magical moments, and it was kind of like a fun challenge. And I even told my leaders about this. You know, they were like, what do you hope to get out of this program? What do you think you can learn through quick service? And I said, you know, finding ways to make magic through something that people would never have thought about. It's a fun challenge to get to figure out how to make magical moments in your location. Just figuring out how you can do that extra thing for someone that's going to mean a lot to them. that's really cool and special. And we also did this thing after all of our shifts called post shift, and basically the entire closing cast would come together and we would just like sit, talk about the day, and some of our leaders, you know, would ask us what was some magic that we did today, and that's just like a really good note to end your shift on. I hope that this video helped to give you some more insight into what it's really like working quick service. I hope that it got you excited for your role. Your attitude is going to be your best friend. Just go in with as positive of an attitude as you can. It will make a world of difference. Make friends with your coworkers. That is another huge thing that is going to make work so much more enjoyable. And take advantage of the opportunity that you have to make magic. There are not a lot of jobs that you get to do that, but Disney is one of them. And the common goal is to create happiness, and take advantage of that. I'm working another job here at home now, and that is just not even something related to what I do at all now, and I miss that every day. So definitely take advantage of that. Again, if you guys have any more questions about quick service, by all means, leave them in the comments below. If you want to see more like this, and if you want to follow along on my Disney Summer Alumni Program, then you can go ahead and subscribe. If you want to connect with me over Twitter and Instagram, the links are going to be in the description below. Also, if you guys like Disney music, because a lot of you guys were like, yes, Disney music in my last videos, I am linking my Spotify below. I have a playlist for Magic Kingdom, Epcot, Hollywood Studios. One of my good friends made a DAC playlist that is awesome. I have one for the 4 parks. I have Happily Ever pre-show music. So I'm going to be linking my Spotify below if you want to check those out, because it's all I listen to, honestly. And then also, just wanted to share our iconic, I don't know if you can see, our iconic roommate group made a playlist. Annalyn made it for us, and it is basically music that we all like to bop to. It is good Disney tunes, so be sure to check it out as well. So until next time, keep making magic, and I'll see you real soon.
Sisters, put me on your vlog and your Snapchat. Sister Kate.
Oh.
Sorry, I just woke up.